All right, so I've been excited about starting a new bin. I wanted to have an indoor bin that I could spend some time with, just basically sitting at my desk and looking at the worms and seeing what the progress is. And this cool thingamajig came inside of my new micro shredder box. And we were going to throw this away, but I was like, oh, I'll keep that for the worms. I'd love that. And I wanted to start a low profile bin. And so I found this really cool 7-gallon mixing bin at Harbor Freight for like $9.99. And this fits perfectly in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some bedding in here that I've already I set up 2 nights ago because I wanted it to have a chance to just kind of sit overnight. And you always want to do bedding like at least a night or two before you put the worms in. I learned from the last time I added new bedding straight into a bin that already had worms in it. It heated up to 90 degrees, and that had me really worried. I've since heard from a lot of really kind folks online that have a lot of experience doing worms. They put cold water, frozen water bottles in. They put ice packs, and they do all kinds of cool stuff just to make sure that the temperature doesn't get too high. But hopefully, with me getting the bedding mixed up a few days prior, allowed it to basically go through the process of heating up and then cooling back down. So basically I want to show you what I did to make the bedding. This is Coco Core, and Coco Core comes in a brick like so, a compact brick, and all you do is you add water to it, and once you add water to it, it breaks down very easily. So just to give you an example, I'm going to spray. This one hasn't quite completely broken down yet. I usually just pour water right over the brick, but I'm just going to spray a little bit of water on here. And when you do that, it comes apart pretty easily. As soon as this core absorbs it, it takes seconds to minutes for it to break down. And it starts to come apart. And then before you know it, you have really soft Coco Core that you can use. Okay, so this is just pure Coco Core, and I started a new brick because I didn't want to use anything that I had already had out in the garage or the yard, because I'm trying to avoid getting fungus gnats in the house. And the other thing that I mixed in there is cardboard shredding. So this is, I did some through my regular shredder and then some through my micro shredder. We had planned to get a micro shredder because our regular shredder wasn't doing a good enough job to when we were shredding like private documents and things like that. So it works out great for me to be able to use it for the making bedding for the worms. So now it's about 50-50. So this is already the pre-mixed bedding that I set up 2 nights ago. And I figured we'll just put it straight in here, and this will be kind of fun for the worms. It'll be kind of like a worm maze, and they'll get to crawl through here, and we'll see how, if they eat through from, kind of section to section. So we're going to go ahead and just put this right in there. Get that in there really good. Fill in all of these little cavities. Okay. This is actually really fun. They'll eventually make their way outside of this little maze. But for now, we're just going to focus on seeing how they get through here, because we're going to stick them in here. So I think that's about as high as we'll set that up before we put more bedding on top. So I've got 300 new worms, and the best way to keep worms from wanting to crawl out is you make sure that their environment is moist enough. It's not too moist so you don't have to worry about them drowning. Because if it's too moist, they're going to want to get the heck out of there. And you want to make sure that there's food in there for them to eat. So they'll eat the cardboard, they'll eat the cocoa core, but you want to put food in there that they'll really enjoy. And so I've got my mix of ground down oats, organic Coach's oats. We've also got cornmeal and eggshell. So we'll put a good portion of that down. We'll spray that. So the eggshell is for grit, to help them eat the food, because they have gizzards. They don't have teeth, so that helps them eat the food. So, all right, here we go. We're going to start introducing them to their new home. There is a little opening here, which I hope they don't come crawling out of right here, but we'll see. We can always add some bedding around here just in case they get out. So there's 50 worms in one of these containers, and I discovered this really cool tackle box. A tackle store not too far from me. It's Fisherman's Hardware. And they happen to have these containers of 50 red worms. I don't know if that's 50. It doesn't quite look 50 to me, but let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, okay, so the package says that there's 50 worms in each one of these, and there's definitely only 49 in this one. So I'm curious if that's just a fluke thing here. And let's see here. We'll go through and count these. Just put them all right here. That looks probably 50 to me. That looks a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. Okay, so this one has 41. So that seems to be the average, is 40 to 41. And the lid here, it says approximately 50. So approximately 50, I would, expect it to be somewhere in the 48 to 52 range. But so they're off quite a bit. Not a big deal. And this has nothing to do with Fisherman's Hardware, because they get this brought in by a local worm farmer. So here we go. So we're going to assume there's about 40 worms in each one of these. The nice thing is they're all real. This one looks like it's got 50 in there. That looks like a pretty good bunch. So they're all very lively and healthy. So that's good. They're younger. They look more like junior size. They don't look quite old enough to mate yet. So that's the most important thing, is that they're healthy and alive. So I'm just going to release them in here. Okay. So that was a good ball of them right there. Yeah, so far, no dead ones. This guy over here. I think they're gonna like this. This is, I mean, if I was a worm, I'd like this. This looks like fun in here. Okay, so we will sprinkle a little bit more of the food on top. Give it a little bit of a spray. You don't want that being too dry. I'm learning more and more that I like my bedding a little bit more on the drier side of things. I don't like it really damp and moist, too moist, because then I just think that you start to get, things start to get kind of gross in here. And so far, the moisture level I have, the worms seem to be happy. They're not complaining. And even if they did, no one's listening, or I can't understand their language. So I'm going to just put a little bit more of this on top. And if you ever add too much water, you know, just add more dry cocoa coir or some of your dry cardboard cuttings. Here we go. And another reason why I'm just doing dry products is I kind of want to see if it makes a difference in their growth level, if they're not eating some of the other stuff that I'm giving the other worms. And I want to see if it affects their reproductive levels. And I just want to make sure that we don't introduce fungus gnats into the house. And so this kind of addresses all of those things I'm trying to address and evaluate here. So that looks like about the right setup. I could probably add a little bit more bedding. I'm not really going to be too concerned about putting a lid on this because I haven't really had any issues with my worms trying to get out of their bin. Any of the little bins that I have going on, because I think they're happy with what they've got inside. So I probably could put more food, because we're guessing we have somewhere around 250 to 300. Just put a little bit more in there. Oh, let me spray that down a little bit. All right, well, we'll come back and check on these guys. I'll check on them again in a few hours just to make sure that the temperature isn't rising too much in here. If it is, I have little ice cubes that I can put in here. And then I'll update you guys on how that's all going. Hope you enjoyed the video. If this was helpful to you, please like, subscribe, and share. Are you doing any cool projects with your worms, or do you have any cool ideas that you're going to be working on? If so, please share. I'd love to learn from you guys. I've had so many awesome people from the worm community reach out and give me advice, and I really appreciate that, and it's been so much help. So, all right, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.